And there is breaking news coming in. Thousands of Yemeni citizens have gathered on the streets of Sana'a to protest against recent killing of Saleh al-Samad, who was the chairman of Yemen's Supreme Political Council. The protests are taking place during the funeral procession of Saleh al-Samad. Saleh al-Samad was killed last Thursday after the Saudi-led coalition targeted his residence in the Red Sea port city of HOUTHI. Following the killing, the Yemeni forces issued a statement promising a crushing response to the US and the Saudi-led coalition. Meanwhile, a Saudi-led coalition airstrike on Yemen's city of Sana'a killed 2 leaders of the armed Houthi group today morning. 2 Houthi leaders were killed in a coalition airstrike conducted on the Houthis' interior ministry in Sana'a early morning today. Saudi Arabia is leading a coalition that has been fighting the Houthis in neighboring Yemen since March 2015, after the movement drove Yemeni President Rabu Mansour Hadi into exile. And to bring us more details on this new story, I am joined in by Daniele Pagani, our West Asia Bureau Chief. Let's quickly go across to Daniele. Now, Daniele, what is the latest that you can bring in on these protests, which have turned out to be pretty gory, I must say? All right, so that is the breaking news coming in. Houthi leaders' protest march have just been marked by the killing of 2 protesters. And to bring us more details, I'm joined in by Daniele, who's joining us live. Daniele, what is the latest that you can bring in on this story?
Well, this is a killing that happened a few days ago, which is likely to have an impact on the Yemeni war, which is entering its 4th year. We're talking about perhaps the most prominent figure among the Houthi rebels who are currently in control of the northwestern part of Yemen. Why I say that this is likely to have an impact is because the war has never been over. And the killing of such a high profile will mean that definitely the Houthi rebels will retaliate. The Houthi rebels are not a small non-state actors. They are very powerful non-state actors. They hold control on a chunk of the military of Yemen. They hold control of the Ministry of Defense as of now. They also hold control of a good amount of weaponry, which they have been using against Saudi Arabia. I'm talking also about ballistic missiles. So the killing of such a high-profile figure and such a large crowd gathering for the funeral means that they do enjoy still very much support in the part of Yemen that they do control. So we are expecting retaliation, and the retaliation will definitely come in the form of ballistic missiles sooner or later.
Right. And for how long are these protests expected to continue now?
Well, this is something very difficult to say. I think it's going to be one day, but again, the protests are, I would say, a sign of how much support still the Houthi movement has, despite the war entering its 4th.
Right. Daniele, thank you so much for bringing us a quick update on these protests. So clearly there, 2 Houthi leaders have been killed during these protests that were taking place against Saudi Arabia. We will continue to track this news story.